New York State Racing Parimutuel Wagering and Breeding Law, Section 102, provides that the New York State Gaming Commission shall consist of 7 members appointed by the governor, by and with the advice and consent of the Senate. 6 members having been confirmed by the New York State Senate affords the Commission an ability to establish a quorum and undertake action. This present meeting of the Commission is now called to order. Ms. Secretary, will you please call the roll?
John Crotty.
Here.
Mark Aaron.
Here.
Peter Machete.
Here.
John Baclemba.
Here.
Barry Sample.
Here.
Todd Snyder.
Here. There.
Ms. Secretary, will you please have here? That's correct. Will you please have the record reflect that a quorum of qualified members are present, thus enabling transaction of business. Also, please have the record reflect that bilateral audio and visual communications have been secured between the meeting sites. Chairman Gear.
Great. Thank you, Rob, and good afternoon, and welcome to my fellow commissioners and staff and guests here, and our thanks to Empire State College for hosting us here for this meeting. Minutes of the commission meeting conducted on July 6, 2015 have been provided to the members in advance, and at this time I'd like to ask members if there are any edits or corrections or amendments. Hearing none, Madam Secretary, please let the record reflect that the minutes were duly adopted. Next up on our agenda is the report of the Executive Director. Rob.
Thank you. Given the amount of rulemaking that has occurred at recent commission meetings, I thought I would start by providing a status update. For lottery-related regulations, there are 4 in the system. The Powerball amendments and draw game regulations were published in the State Register on July 22nd, 2015, meaning that the public comment period ends on September 8th. To date, there has been 1 comment received, which was non-substantive. Daily numbers and Win 4 amendments were published in the State Register on August 19th, meaning that the public comment period ends on October 5th. The video lottery gaming facility hours of operation rulemaking was submitted to the State Register on August 13th. It will be published on September 2nd, meaning that the public comment period will end in mid-October. There have been no formal comments received to date for either the numbers or Win 4 proposal. As for the commercial casino regulations proposed last month, they were published in the State Register on July 22nd. This means that the public comment period ends on September 8th. There have been no formal comments received to date. As you are all aware, the Commission will be conducting 2 forums in the next 2 weeks. Tomorrow, a LASIX forum, developed at the request of Commissioners Crotty and Machete, will be held at the Empire State College here in Saratoga Springs. Bennett Liebman, the longtime Racing and Wagering Board member who formerly served as Deputy Secretary of Gaming and Racing in the Office of the Governor and is presently affiliated with Albany Law School, will be providing introductory remarks. He will be followed by 4 separate panels, 1 with academic researchers, 1 with practicing veterinarians, 1 with trainers and owners, and the final one with national leaders in the racing industry. Academic participants include Professors Corinne Sweeney of the University of Pennsylvania School of Veterinary Medicine and Paul Morley from Colorado State University. Trainer participants will include Jonathan Shepard, Gary Contessa, and Larry Jones. Owner participants will include Arthur Hancock and Maggie Moss, and veterinary participants will include Gary Priest from Hart Hill and Priest, Christopher Riggins of the Hong Kong Jockey Club, Foster Northrup from the Kentucky Horse Racing Commission, and Jeff Blea, the immediate past president of the American Association of Equine Practitioners. Professor Gregory Ferraro from the UCal Davis Veterinary School, and Scott Hay, the chairman of the AAEP Racing Committee, will also be participating. The industry leaders panel will include Bill Nader, the executive director of the Hong Kong Jockey Club, Alan Foreman, the chairman of the National Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association, Alex Waldrop, the president of the NTRA, and Ed Martin, the president of the Association of Racing Commissioners International. The Retired Racehorse event is scheduled for September 1st at the Fasig-Tipton Pavilion here in Saratoga. Panels will include history and current status of retirement initiatives and programs by New York thoroughbred horsemen, national leaders in thoroughbred retirement, approaches to aftercare at the track level, standardbred industry address of retirement, and accredited organizations providing a current status and future challenges relevant to aftercare in New York-based horses. We are pleased that among the participants will include representatives of NYRA, the Stronach Group, Churchill Downs, NYFA's Rick Violette, and Finger Lakes Horsemen's Dave Brown, the Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance, the Thoroughbred Retirement Foundation, the United States Trotting Association, and the Standardbred Retirement Foundation. State-based rescue venues such as Aikendale Thoroughbred Rescue, Equine Advocates, the Finger Lakes Thoroughbred Adoption Program, New Vocations, Old Friends, and Rerun will also be participating. The Gaming Facility Location Board will be conducting their applicant presentation segment of their request for applications to develop a commercial casino gambling facility, most likely on September 10th in Manhattan area. We're still trying to lock down the actual physical location of that. They will also be conducting a public comment event, most likely at the Broome County Community College in Binghamton on September 18th. As you are likely aware, a single application from Tioga Downs was received. For those curious, the application has been posted on the Gaming Facility Location Board's portion of our website. Finally, if any of you happen to the racetrack today, please stop by the office or the steward's booth to introduce yourself to Commission employee Erin Higgins, who is the first female steward at a NYRA racetrack. Erin has spent the summer at Saratoga getting experience, and she's on loan from the Commission's Finger Lakes office. Chairman?
That's great. That's exciting. Thank you very much, Rob, for that good report. We next turn to rulemaking on our agenda. New York State Racing Pari-Mutuel Wagering and Breeding Law 104.19 authorizes the Commission to promulgate rules and regulations that it deems necessary to carry out its responsibilities. To that regard, the Commission will from time to time promulgate rules and rule amendments pursuant to the State Administrative Procedure Act. And today we have one rulemaking item for consideration. Rob, could you outline this item?
Yes, this item for Commission consideration is a draft amendment to the regulation governing bonding requirements for video lottery gaming agents. Since the commencement of video lottery gaming, agents have been required to provide a bond that corresponded with no less than a defined percentage of 5 days estimated average daily net win. The percentage used for the past decade has been 65%, set to mirror the state's statutory revenue retention from facilities. That is, net win minus the 35% agent and vendor retention. Since establishment of that initial percentage, laws have been changed modifying agent and vendor retention. In general, the agent and vendor retention is no longer 35%. The state retention is no longer 65%. The agent and vendor retention and the state retention now vary at each video lottery gaming facility. Amendment of the existing rule would allow flexibility to consider bond coverage from each video lottery gaming facility that is commensurate with the state retention at the facilities. While the existing rule allows Commission staff to grant waivers of 65% requirement for good cause, staff believes the amendment of the rule to make the bonding requirement consistent with the original intent to secure 5 days of the state's share of net facility win is appropriate. I have, however, heard some comments individually from different Commission members that expressed concern with the language in the proposed amendment. And I think the language concerns that have been expressed to me are very valid and real. So I think it's appropriate that we address those concerns, recirculate that amendment, and move it to the next meeting's agenda, if that's sufficient for everyone.
Thank you.
Seems like a prudent course, Commissioners. Everyone? Great. Next, for adjudications, we have 5 hearing officer reports today for consideration. And Rob, if you could outline the first case.
Certainly. The first case is in the matter of Balwy Food Mart. On November 22, 2013, lottery agent Balwi Fooldmart on Butternut Street in Syracuse was issued a notice of license suspension. This notice, which was amended on June 11, 2015, alleged that the licensee participated in conduct prejudicial to the public confidence in the state lottery and that criminal conduct occurred on the agent's premises. Under commission lottery procedure, the suspension notice converts to a revocation unless a hearing is requested. A requested hearing was conducted on July 7, 2015. The hearing officer's report and recommendations were delivered to the commission secretary on August 14, 2015. The hearing officer recommended that the license be revoked and that suspension of the license until revocation be upheld. At a meeting conducted pursuant to the judicial or quasi-judicial proceedings exemption of New York Public Officers Law, Section 108.1, the commission considered this matter.
Correct. The commission duly deliberated and considered this matter and determined upon a vote of 5-1 to sustain the hearing officer's report and recommendations. Having said that, the commission unanimously felt that the time frame for adjudication in this matter should not be used for any precedent in any future adjudication before the commission. Our second case, Rob?
Second case is in the matter of Food King. On November 22, 2013, lottery agent Food King Grocery on Oakwood Avenue in Syracuse was issued a notice of license suspension. This notice, amended on June 4, 2015, alleged the licensee suffered certain conduct prejudicial to public confidence in the state lottery. Under commission lottery procedure, the suspension notice converts to a revocation unless a hearing is requested. A requested hearing was conducted on June 25th and July 14th, 2015. The hearing officer report and recommendation were delivered to the commission secretary on August 17th, 2015. The hearing officer recommended that the license be revoked and that suspension of the license until revocation be upheld. At a meeting conducted pursuant to the judicial or quasi-judicial proceedings exemption of the New York Public Officers Law, Section 108.1, the commission considered this matter.
And the commission duly deliberated and considered this matter and determined upon a vote of 5-1 to sustain the hearing officer's report and recommendations. And similarly, unanimously felt that the time frame here for adjudication should not in any way be used for precedent for future cases before the commission.
Mr. Chairman, if I could revisit both matter A and B, would you like to put on the record who was the vote in the negative on both of those?
Certainly, it was Commissioner Peter Machete.
Sure, and if I can say something about that.
Certainly.
My determination is not based on the substance of the findings of the hearing officer, but based on the fact that under the rules and regulations, when there is an immediate suspension, there should be a hearing within a reasonable amount of time. In both instances, the delay was from the time of the suspension until hearing more than a year and a half. And I don't think under anyone's calculation, a year and a half can be determined to be within a reasonable time. And therefore, on a due process issue, I would determine that the hearing officer's findings should not be upheld.
Thank you, Commissioner Machete. Rob?
The third matter is in the matter of number 1 convenient. On November 21st, 2013, lottery agent number 1 convenient was issued a notice of license suspension. This notice, amended on May 6, 2014, alleged the licensee participated in conduct prejudicial to the public confidence in the state lottery and that criminal conduct occurred on the agent's premises. Under lottery procedure, the suspension notice converts to a revocation unless a hearing is requested. A requested hearing was conducted on July 1st, 2014. The hearing officer report and recommendation were delivered to the commission secretary on July 23rd, 2014. The hearing officer recommended that the license be revoked and that the suspension of the license until revocation be upheld. At a meeting conducted pursuant to the judicial or quasi-judicial proceedings exemption of New York Public Officers Law, Section 108.1, the commission considered this matter.
Right, and the commission duly deliberated and considered this matter and determined upon a unanimous vote to sustain the hearing officer's report and recommendations.
Matter 4 is in the matter of Stop and Go Market. On May 11th, 2015, lottery agent Stop and Go Market was issued a notice of license suspension. This notice, amended on May 6, 2000, oops, that doesn't sound right. I got that wrong. This notice alleged that the licensee participated in conduct prejudicial to the public confidence in the state lottery. Under Lottery Commission procedure, the suspension notice converts to a revocation unless a hearing is requested. A requested hearing was conducted this past July 25th, 2015. The hearing officer's report and recommendation were delivered to the Commission Secretary on July 28th, 2015. The hearing officer recommended that the license be revoked and that suspension of the license until revocation be upheld. At a meeting conducted pursuant to the judicial or quasi-judicial proceedings exemption of the New York Public Officers Law, Section 108.1, the Commission considered this matter.
All right, the Commission duly deliberated and determined and considered this matter and determined upon a unanimous vote to sustain the hearing officer's report and recommendations. And our final matter.
The final matter today is in the matter of Jeanette Mccall. On July 11th, 2015, the Bureau of Licensing declined to issue Jeanette Mccall a license as a harness race horse owner. The denial was based on the conclusion that her experience, character, or general fitness is such that her participation in harness racing or related activities would be inconsistent with the public interest, convenience, or necessity, or with the best interest of racing generally. Specifically, Ms. McCall failed to disclose criminal history on her license application. After Ms. McCall appealed, a hearing was conducted on July 13th, 2015. The hearing officer report and recommendation were received by the Commission Secretary on August 18th, 2015. The hearing officer recommended that the license denial be upheld. At a meeting conducted pursuant to the judicial or quasi-judicial proceedings exemption of the New York Public Officers Law, Section 108.1, the Commission considered this matter.
All right, the Commission duly deliberated and considered this matter and determined upon a unanimous vote to sustain the hearing officer's report and recommendation. Okay, so that concludes those adjudication matters. Next on our agenda is any new business. Does any member of the Commission have any new business for us to consider? Okay, hearing none, we turn to old business. Any old business to consider? Okay. Hearing none, I guess next is the scheduling of the next meeting, for the next meeting date. To promptly address the various rules for consideration, the next regular meeting is scheduled for September 10th, 2015. The primary location will be in Manhattan, 633 3rd Avenue. And if there are challenges or problems from commissioners, please advise Ms. Buckley to that effect. But September 10th is the next scheduled date.
And we're thinking about the regular time, 11 or 10? Just to travel.
Or 11, yeah, normal time.
Consistency, 11 to 12.
Pre-adjudication at 11.
Very good.
12 o'clock.
Just the travel time for me, that's all.
Okay.
Would it help you if we were later or what?
No, 11's fine. I'll just get to the earlier train on time.
You can, no.
Yes.
Reserve all.
You can,
Yes, yes.
We don't want to repeat the conveniences. Anything else, Rob, from
That's
your
all.
point of view? Okay. So this concludes today's public agenda. But before we conclude, if I may, I'd just like to offer some reflection. Since my appointment to this position 2 years ago, it's been an enormous privilege to work on these issues and to work with the Commission. When I look at what we've all done together, overseeing the merging of 2 executive agencies, which is a considerable effort, I think, thereby ensuring and providing greater accountability and transparency to the gaming issues that we regulate. I think this Commission itself has established as the important voice and public voice for the promotion of responsible gaming practices. I think significant progress has been made in ensuring equine health safety for our racehorses, and when you look at the lottery work, in terms of the exciting new promotions and games that have been accomplished through the work of the Commission and the Commissioners, all in the context, too, of the rather historic expansion of gaming in the state. And at a time where I'm particularly proud of the focus on problem gambling, as we have done that for my first Commission meeting, outlining that importance. The Commission and several Commissioners, we all participated a year and a half ago, I guess, in Albany, in a full-day effort looking at these issues, working with state agencies, and the follow-up regionally and responsible play has been, I think, noteworthy as we've been concurrently working on the issues of broadening gaming in the state. So these are all issues that I think everyone here has worked hard on, and for my own part, I've thoroughly enjoyed and valued my time on. It is also the case, a few months ago, I both indicated to Rob and to the governor's staff that there have been enhanced responsibilities by professional world with a completion of a master plan and anticipated extensive travel on behalf of my institution, and my outside service work in higher education. As many of you know, I commit time to various community service and national service organizations, chairing the Commission on National and Community Service, the Talwa Network, Campus Compact, and policy work, expanding that with the Franklin Project at the Aspen Institute. And some of these efforts will require additional leadership on my part in the year ahead. So, and most importantly, I did not want to see any of the Commission's really positive momentum and forward trajectory to ebb in any way. I took this position, as all of you do, seriously, believing in the importance of public service and citizen engagement, no matter how hard or thorny or complex the issues are. And I've worked hard to honor both the governor's trust in this appointment as well as the Senate's confirmation of my position here. So I am confident all of this momentum and positive trajectory will continue as I step off this commission in this role at the conclusion of this meeting. And I'm confident of that for two reasons. First, my fellow commissioners who are smart and dedicated and exhibit extraordinary public service amidst their own significant personal and professional responsibilities. I've been enormously impressed with the integrity that each and every one of them brings to their role, the care and preparation and reading and preparation for meetings, which is and can be considerable. In New York State, citizens should know well that the public service, the citizen service of the commissioners here is, in my judgment, exemplary. And secondly, I think I'm confident of this forward lean and momentum because of the commission staff, the New York State Gaming Commission staff, ably led by Rob Williams, who is as smart as he is dedicated, as he is unflappable in his role. He's put together a phenomenal team. They're around this table, Kristen, Lee, and Ed, and Bradley, and others that I've had the great privilege to work with. So I am proud of our collective work together. I'm happy to think that I've helped with all of you to advance gaming issues in the state, to make them fairer and better and thoughtful in a 21st century context. So as I conclude my duties here, I do so with gratitude, with admiration for the collective effort, for the public service that is so amply displayed by the service of my commissioners and by the staff. So I thank you all very much for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, it's an honorable.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, with that, I appreciate all of that. And let me, if I may, for the last time, hearing no other addendums to this meeting of the New York State Gaming Commission is adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.